a plumb line that evolves.
That's not a plumb line.
It's not a plumb line. By definition, it's not a plumb line. It can't be a plumb line, right? So when we talk about having a standard by which you fail to live up to, it has to be some kind of standard. And when we talk about a moral standard, we're implying personhood.
Right.
Because morality and personhood go together.
Yes.
Right? A rock doesn't have morality because it
we
lacks
know of.
personhood. Unless you're on Star Trek. You never know.
I don't know who the Tribbles did.
That's
Not
what I
the
was
rocks.
thinking of. Oh
The
my
Tribbles?
gosh. Yes. They're not rocks though. They're fuzzy creatures.
But they're small. They're kind of like a rock.
A fuzzy rock.
Yeah. Little tiny
Like
rocks.
an Oregon rock with
Yeah.
moss all over it.
Okay.
We got really far away.
Anyway.
So,
Moral law. Wait, moral standard.
outside of the Christian
Keep
worldview,
up.
I'm trying to be so serious here. Outside of the Christian worldview, you don't have that standard of good. So what an atheist can say from within their own philosophical framework is that I don't like that a Christian professes a standard of good and doesn't live up to it. Okay, you could say that, but you can't say that that Christian is therefore wrong because you don't have a standard by which to make that comparison. I hope that didn't go like, just out the window.
Makes sense.
Okay, so that's the problem is when you're trying to make what amounts to a moral accusation that somebody is doing something wrong. You have to say, and here's how I know that is wrong. It's by this, right? And if this is a moving target, then we can't ever say that anything's wrong at all. It's all relative. Exactly. To situations, times, places, preferences. And so all it amounts to, if somebody's saying, I don't like, I think Christians are hypocritical, but they're doing it from outside of a framework that provides a standard of good, then all they're saying is, I just don't like it.
Yeah.
And that's it. It's
non-consequential.
Yeah. It's almost a meaningless statement, but not, because it is meaningful to the person's own narrative. Right. So that's the problem, is once you get outside of the Christian philosophical framework, and into an atheistic philosophical framework, you don't have the grounding or the basis for a standard by which you're able to say, this, I know this is wrong. I absolutely know that's wrong. And that's what's difficult, is people will tell me, well, that's dumb, Mary Jo, because everybody knows that like torturing babies for fun is wrong.
Wow. There's an example.
Well, it's the quintessential philosophical example, right? Everybody knows that. Nobody thinks torture. If you have somebody that says torturing babies for fun is right, you go, wow, psycho ward, right? Like they don't belong
Lock them up.
around people. But how do they know that? Is it social convention? Is it just for our survival? What makes it wrong? That's the problem. And so we have to go back to what's the grounding for that? Where are you getting this conception of right and wrong? So anyway, that's the problem with the charge of hypocrisy launched at Christians from a philosophical framework that doesn't have a standard to say that what Christians are doing is ultimately wrong.
Exactly.